If you opened this video, it's because something deep inside you already knows the old version of you is ready to die, not physically, but energetically. That sentence may sound unsettling, but notice how it lands in your body. It's the truth you've been avoiding. Right now, your life keeps looping, like a broken record repeating the same track. And you're here because you've grown tired of dancing to music that no longer belongs to you. Quantum physics calls this the observer effect. The act of watching collapses infinite possibilities into a single reality. Every day, you've been collapsing the same version of yourself, same fears, same patterns, same outcomes. The harder you try to fix that old self, the deeper the loop becomes. It's like polishing rust. No matter how hard you scrub, the metal underneath is still decayed. You can't upgrade a prison, you have to walk out of it. And that's the paradox. You've been told to work harder, heal more, strive endlessly to improve. But what if the real transformation isn't about effort at all? What if it's about letting go of the grip you have on who you think you are? Identity is not your story, your job title, or your scars. Identity is frequency, and the moment you shift frequency, your entire reality responds. People, opportunities, even the way your body feels. So here's the first promise I'll make to you. You don't need to fix anything. You don't need to rewrite the same book 100 times. You don't even need to chase the better version of you. You only need to release the grip on the old frequency and allow the new one to emerge. That's where the real quantum shift begins, not in effort, but in surrender. Most people walk through life thinking they need to fix everything around them, change jobs, switch partners, move cities. But here's the truth. It's not about fixing the radio. It's about changing the station. Imagine you're stuck listening to static on an old radio. You twist the knob, but if you stay on the same frequency, you'll hear the same noise again and again. That's what happens when the body and mind remain tuned to the patterns of the old self. No matter how many external moves you make, the soundtrack of your life keeps replaying the same song. Think of the metaphor. You can't pour new wine into old wineskins. The wineskin is your body, and the old wine is your stored emotional history. If you keep pouring fresh experiences into a vessel full of past resentment, heartbreak, and fear, the container bursts. How many times have you seen someone start a fresh relationship, only to end up with the same arguments, the same endings, the same heartbreak? That's not coincidence. It's the frequency of unhealed patterns pulling the same story back into their reality. Joe Dispenza often explains that the body literally becomes the subconscious mind, a living record of past emotions. Picture someone who flinches every time they hear the word failure, or feels a knot in their chest whenever money is mentioned. These are not random reactions. They're rehearsed emotional programs stored in the nervous system. Over time, your body memorizes these states so deeply that it drives your life more than your conscious thoughts do. The past isn't behind you. It's running in your bloodstream, in every automatic reaction. HeartMath research shows that your heart emits a measurable electromagnetic field, extending several feet beyond your body. That means your emotions broadcast outward like a signal tower, shaping the encounters, opportunities, and even strangers you attract. Ever notice how some people walk into a room and instantly shift the atmosphere? That's their field. If fear is your dominant emotion, you'll magnetize situations that validate it. If gratitude is your dominant state, you'll attract synchronicities, kindness, and opportunities that align with that vibration. You are, quite literally, walking with an invisible magnet strapped to your chest. This is where the concept of quantum decoherence comes in, the breakdown of the old energetic pattern so that something new can emerge. It's like rebooting a frozen computer. The system has to collapse before a new program can run. Or think of demolishing an old building. You can't build a modern home on a foundation that's cracked. The collapse feels terrifying because the familiar, even when painful, feels safer than the unknown. Yet that collapse is the invitation for a new timeline to load. But here's the catch. The illusion of safety keeps most people stuck in the loop of the old self. The old patterns promise familiarity, but the cost is reliving the same day, the same fears, the same mistakes, as if life were a rerun. To shift the frequency, you must be willing to step into the discomfort of not knowing. Imagine selling your house, standing on the empty plot of land. It looks barren, uncertain, exposed, yet only in that emptiness can you design and raise a new home. And that emptiness, unsettling as it is where the next chapter begins to whisper. There comes a moment in transformation that feels like standing in a pitch-black room at 2 a.m., unsure which way is forward. The old self has collapsed, yet the new one hasn't quite arrived. It's disorienting, like when your phone suddenly shuts off in the middle of a call and you're left in silence, staring at the screen. This is the void, the gap between what was and what will be. People often mistake it for failure, when in truth it's the womb of creation. Nothing grows without passing through the dark soil first. I once sat in my car at 2 a.m., headlights off, completely undone by emotions I couldn't name. It wasn't sadness or anger, it was emptiness, a hollowing out of everything I thought I was. And strangely, that night became the birthplace of my new identity. Everyone has their version of this. Maybe it's staring at the ceiling after a breakup, sitting in the parking lot after quitting a job, or standing in the shower longer than usual because the weight of the unknown is pressing down. These are not breakdowns, they are transitions. Spiritual traditions have long pointed to this moment. In the Vedas, it's the sacred void before manifestation. In Buddhism, it's the dissolution of self, the emptiness that makes space for clarity. Near-death experiences often describe it too. A vast silence where identity dissolves before light appears. It may sound mystical, but it's profoundly human. The you that you thought was permanent dissolves, and for a brief, terrifying window, there is no label, no role, no anchor. That's not a mistake, it's an opening. Think of a caterpillar inside its cocoon. Scientists call it the imaginal cell soup. The creature literally melts into a formless state before reorganizing into a butterfly. That melting looks like death, but it's metamorphosis. And so it is with us. When we enter the void, we feel lost, stripped, even useless. But beneath the surface, our nervous system is recalibrating, our energy field is resetting, and a new coherence is waiting to emerge. The chaos is not punishment, it's biology preparing for rebirth. The hardest part is the loss of identity. You don't know what to call yourself anymore, and that's terrifying in a world obsessed with labels. Friends may not understand, routines may stop making sense, and even your own reflection might feel foreign. But here's the secret, that confusion is a compass. The very fact that you no longer fit into your old life is proof that you're stepping into a new one. It's uncomfortable because it's real. Pretending would feel easier, but authenticity rarely does. And yet, hidden in this emptiness is something sacred, possibility. The void is like a cosmic pause button, the silence between two musical notes that makes the melody meaningful. Most people rush to fill it, jumping into rebound relationships, binge-watching, overworking, just to avoid the discomfort. But if you can sit in it, breathe into it, let the silence stretch, the field of new frequencies begins to open. That's when the universe starts whispering clues of what comes next, though it rarely arrives in the way you expect. When the old self begins to collapse, life itself starts to respond in mysterious ways. You might notice what mystics call divine dissatisfaction, that creeping sense that nothing feels fulfilling anymore. The foods you once craved don't taste the same, the shows you binge feel shallow, even friendships that once felt comforting start to feel empty. It's not depression, it's evolution. The universe is gently weaning you off what no longer matches your frequency, nudging you towards something more authentic. Then the synchronicities begin. You glance at the clock and see repeating numbers: 11:11, 2:22, 3:33. A stranger says a sentence that feels like it was crafted just for you. You dream of places you've never been, but they carry an uncanny familiarity. It's as if reality itself is folding in on you, rearranging events to prove you're not going crazy. You're being guided. People often dismiss these as coincidences, but if you lean in, you'll notice they form a breadcrumb trail leading you forward. Your body also becomes an oracle in this phase. Pay attention: contraction in the chest, the sinking gut, the subtle tightening in your shoulders. These sensations are signals. They're like road signs flashing red, telling you you're out of alignment. In contrast, when your body feels light, expansive, even joyful without reason, that's the green light. Expansion equals yes, contraction equals no. You don't need an external guru. Your biology has been whispering guidance all along. This stage is often described in spiritual traditions as the dark night of the soul. It's the night where your old world has crumbled, but the dawn of the new hasn't yet arrived. It's a necessary threshold, not a punishment. Think of it like cleaning out a closet. Before you can put new clothes in, you need to haul out the old ones, sift through the mess, and sit in the discomfort of clutter. The universe uses dissatisfaction as the broom, sweeping away what you've outgrown. Real-life examples of this show up everywhere. You might suddenly lose interest in a career path you chased for a decade, or feel restless in a relationship that once felt safe. You might even find yourself decluttering your home instinctively, as if your environment is mirroring your inner state. These shifts are not random. They're the universe clearing bandwidth, ensuring you have space for the next download. What feels like loss is actually preparation. And here's where the beauty begins. The universe rarely sends the new life fully formed. Instead, it gives hints. An idea that won't leave you alone, a person who shows up at the right time, a book that practically jumps off the shelf. These are not accidents, they're invitations. The question is, will you notice? Because the signs will keep amplifying until ignoring them becomes impossible. And that right there is how the new frequency begins to carve its way into your reality. When the new frequency finally starts to take root, the shift is not just spiritual, it's biological. Your heart enters a state called coherence, where its rhythm synchronizes with your breath and brainwaves. This isn't just poetic language, it's science. In this state, stress hormones like cortisol decrease and regenerative chemicals flood your system. Suddenly, sleep feels deeper, focus becomes sharper, and even your skin seems to glow differently. It's as if your biology has been waiting for permission to heal, and the moment you align, it rushes in. Epigenetics teaches us a profound truth. You don't inherit destiny, you inherit potential. Bruce Lipton has shown that your genes are not rigid scripts, but flexible instruments waiting for a conductor. And that conductor is your state of being. If your emotional baseline is fear, your biology plays one kind of song. If it's love, it plays another. Think of two people, one who constantly rehearses stress and ages before their time, and another who cultivates gratitude and seems ageless. Both have the same genetic toolkit. The difference is the frequency they live in. This is where love transforms, not the kind of love that clings, grasps, or begs, but a love without lack. In this new identity, you no longer chase affection because you are already generating it. Focus sharpens without anxiety. Abundance flows without strain. You start to notice opportunities arriving without the grind that once felt necessary. It feels almost unfair at first. How could life be this fluid? But the truth is, coherence makes struggle obsolete. The system runs smoother because it's not divided against itself. Think of the caterpillar again. Inside the cocoon, what looks like a tomb is actually a laboratory. Cells dissolve, yes, but in that dissolution, new structures are born. For us, the cocoon might look like meditation, journaling, solitude, practices that appear passive from the outside but are rewriting our biology from within. What seems like stillness is actually recalibration, just as silence in music creates rhythm. The cocoon is not prison, it's transformation in progress. Examples of this are everywhere once you look. People who begin daily heart-breathing practices report healing chronic conditions, reduced anxiety, even spontaneous remission of illnesses. Others discover new levels of creativity after years of stagnation, as if their mind unlocked a chamber they never knew existed. One person begins painting again, another finally writes the book they've been carrying for decades. Biology and creativity are not separate, they're dance partners. When your body feels safe, your spirit feels free to create. And perhaps the most remarkable shift is this: the old cycle of forcing life to happen dissolves. Instead of hustling against the current, you learn to move with it, almost like a surfer riding a wave instead of fighting the ocean. That's the essence of the new identity, less about doing, more about being. But here's the paradox. Before this wave carries you, there's one last layer to understand. Now that you've walked through this journey, the real question is, what will you do with it? Will you keep collapsing the same version of yourself tomorrow, or will you finally release the grip on the old frequency? The universe has already been sending you signals, divine dissatisfaction, synchronicities, even the discomfort in your own body. Are you willing to listen this time, or will you scroll past and return to the same loop? What if you treated this moment as a reset, not just another piece of content? Imagine applying even one shift, breathing into your heart daily, letting go of a toxic pattern, or choosing stillness instead of distraction. These small actions are not random. They're how the new identity gets coded into your biology. Which one will you try today? The truth is, no one can do this for you. No mentor, no partner, no book. It's your responsibility to step into the void, to trust the gap, and to let your frequency recalibrate. Because when you do, you'll notice reality itself bending to meet you. Relationships change, opportunities align, your own reflection looks different, and all of it starts with one choice: to let go. So tell me, what part of your old self are you most ready to release right now? Drop it in the comments, not just as words, but as a declaration of your next chapter. And if this message resonated with you, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss the next transmission. Because the journey doesn't end here, it's only beginning, and the next frequency is waiting for you.